Shout out. The Connects. Luis Guzman. Don't ever go, never leave my side. Passion's all I have, courage is my drive. And if I lost you, I would lose it all together. I wouldn't have.
Welcome to I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman podcast, where we highlight the journey of entrepreneurs and business people alike to showcase that every light and dark moment create a beautiful piece of art. This is episode 42. I am your host, Luis Guzman. My guest today is the owner and mastermind behind the Parlay Plug, a handicap sports company that assists sports enthusiasts through strategic sports betting research and attention to detail to provide its clients with the best odds to win. With a client list of over 10,000 people and growing, and a VIP program for top bettors, his dedication to this niche craft has afforded him the luxury to grow his brand through content such as video vlogs and strong presence on Discord and Dub Club. He is a fortune teller of sorts and tends to give his clients various opportunities to succeed in sports gambling. A lover of corgis, a local guy from my old stomping ground, Hillside, New Jersey, and grounded in humility through all his success. You can find him courtside at an NBA game or at the Legend Suites at Yankee Stadium, but still laser focused on his results. Julian Saavedra, welcome to the show, brother.
Appreciate that, man. That intro was crazy.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go.
Hey, listen, I seen your growth in the last couple. I mean, we just connected on social media not too long ago. But I see what you've been doing with the Parlay Plug, and I told you off camera, you're crushing it like on another level. So thank you for making time, because I know it's baseball season and you're busy.
Yeah, I mean, it's busy, but like the crazy thing is, while I ran into your podcast, it's like we crossed paths. So we saw each other on social media, and I'm like, I know this dude from somewhere. So I hit you up, and God is good, man. We're here connecting, and
so cool, man. And it's crazy because we for the people listening, and me and him have a connection before the podcast where we actually played baseball back in the day together.
Yep, softball. I was pretty trash, but
I was like 300 pounds, so that's probably why he couldn't remember me now. Yeah, he looks familiar. Oh, this is the skinny version of the big guy I played baseball with. But nah, man, I feel like everything's divine intervention. Everything comes back full circle, and thankful that you made some time today to tell your story, brother.
I appreciate you for having me, man.
I appreciate you, man. So, Julian, I ask this to everybody that comes on. First question all the time, lead off question. Who is Julian Saavedra?
Who am I? As a person, I'm just a loving fiance with 2 dogs. Thank you. I'm just a guy that's into sports. I'm nobody different than anybody else. I'm a regular person. I just have a passion for sports, and that's what made it to what it is today.
Oh, man. You always, since you were young, as you can remember, you always were into sports or, numbers. Like, were you good in math class? Like,
nah, it wasn't. I mean, I like math. It wasn't, nothing about math. It was just more of, I was always into sports. I always watched LeBron, or I always watched Brady growing up. So that just made me, I want to be there one day. Even though I'm not going to be playing, I want to see you play,
Gotcha, brother.
And that's where the love for sports betting came. And as you work in the industry of, like, let's say food industry, bars all the time are playing sports. You get more in tune with it.
So tell me about your history before you started the Parlay Plug. Like, what were you doing before you got into sports and sports business?
So before I even thought of this crazy idea, I was going from 9 to 5 jobs, different 9 to 5 jobs. My last 9 to 5 job was Amazon. I was working overnight.
How was that?
It was better than expected. They
Really?
were giving out the boost, those little incentives to, work there, and they'll give you like a $2,000 bonus by the end of the month, something like that. So that it started off well. But by that point, when I was working at Amazon, I already had somewhat of the Parlay Plug going. But if we're going into depth of before what I was doing before this idea, I was more so bartending, serving, busting my ass any way I could get it.
Trying to make $1. That's
trying
it.
to make
$1,
$1, tips, whatever, And that's basically it. So I never went to high school. Never. I mean, I did go to high school.
We were just talking about
went to high school.
Hillside High School.
I went to high school, but I never graduated, dropped out. After that, I never seen a book. I never studied anything, you know.
Wow. What? Yeah. Let's talk about that. So why did you leave school early? Why'd you drop out?
I had more like family problems going on.
Okay.
So it was more so like, let me move out my house, which caused me to leave the high school I was in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you weren't a troubled kid in school or started trouble. It was just more family issues. Why?
Family issues. You know, my mom had, I had a stepdad at that point and we just didn't see eye to eye. So it was either like, you know, you shape up the way he wants me to shape up or get out. And I just decided to, you know, get out.
I hear you, man. Well, I mean, that takes a lot of courage. You were probably what, 14?
Nah, 15? I was in my senior year. As soon as I turned 18.
Wow, come on.
I had 6 months to go.
Get out, man.
Yep.
And you so how old were you at that time? 17?
In January I turned 18. By February 1st I was moving out my house.
Wow, dude. And you didn't get along with your stepdad, your mom.
That's basically it.
That's basically it, right? And listen, I get it. You know, it happens whenever you have a step parent. I grew up, you know, sometimes with different stepdads, and I was not happy to have them in my life. And they coming in here trying to tell me what to do or how to act or this and that. We just didn't get along. No one can ever replace who your dad is, right? But it is difficult to navigate that, especially when you're 18. You don't know. You're 18. You don't know how to navigate through that. How do you
growing up? And,
how do you process that?
It's just my mom. You know, like I love my mom, and it's a way better relationship than when it was when I first left. You know, like me and my mom are like best friends. You know, I could talk to her about anything.
That's so awesome.
She comes over to my house whenever she wants. You know,
nice, man.
Yeah, so I'm happy where I am now with her than what I was when she had that man in her life.
Ironically enough, is he still with her?
No.
Oh, okay.
But they did have a kid together, and that's my little sister, which is my best friend as well.
There's a blessing from that, you see? But that's beautiful because I feel like in the moment, your mom was probably like, oh my God, I'm losing my son and he's moving out. Little did she know, and you knew, that it actually strengthened your bond.
Yeah.
Because now you said she's your best friend. So sometimes, and I think this is consistent in life, you got to kind of go through all the difficult, tough stuff first to get to the greener pastures where it's like, man, you look back and you're like, wow, I left my house at 18. I thought I'll never speak to my mom again. And now she's my best friend and I got a little sister.
Yeah.
Like you would have never thought that when you were 18. You were just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And ironically, like my little sister now is 19, you know?
Wow.
So like,
wow.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. Time just goes, right?
It's mad different. It's just seeing her growing up, and I'm happy like her growing up isn't the way I grew up. You know what I mean?
Gotcha, man.
My mom has a great man now, you know?
Awesome, brother. What a blessing, dude. So you left home early. How did you handle it? How did you survive?
It was tough, man. Again, like not having a male figure to look up to and stuff like that. I really looked up to my grandma. That was the second next best person next to my mom.
Wow.
Moved to Elizabeth, and that's when the trouble kind of started getting involved. Like, you know, I had to make $1. I just got out of high school. Nobody's going to hire me. I started, you know, selling drugs. Whatever.
That happens in Elizabeth. I
literally
know.
happens in Elizabeth.
I went from Hillside to Elizabeth, and all my friends sold drugs. Yeah, it was like a passage, like a rite of honor passage.
Yeah, you got to sell drugs to make it in Elizabeth. I did that, and it wasn't for me. You know, like it was so heartbreaking because my mom, I was selling drugs at the corner across the street from the Elizabeth police station.
Wow.
And my mom had to go to work around there sometimes.
Yeah.
And she would see me on that corner, and she told me that she would cry looking at me there.
Man.
It was rough. It was rough. But
and you were just literally is that by the where the Vogels was?
No, that was like there was the Bank of America.
Yes, the Bank of America.
East Grand.
Come
there
on.
you go.
We're talking like some Elizabethans. Yeah, so the Bank of East Grand. Wow, man.
Yeah, man.
And she would walk by and see you?
No, she would drive by, and then you know, she would see me, and like she would still text me or whatever. Like she'll still love me, but like seeing her son is like doing illegal things to try to get money, like it would hurt anybody, you know?
I mean, God bless her, man, because the strength your mom had to see her son doing wrong, but letting you kind of sit in that.
Yeah.
And be like, listen, you're going to learn. Because she could have easily just enabled or took care of you or be like, oh, you know, but to let you actually figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And to you stand here in front of me today as successful as you are, let that be a testament to people that you could change your life for the better, you know?
At any given time, it's just the way you go about it, you know? And no, there's nothing wrong with, you know, doing illegal things. Yeah, it is illegal, but you just have to have a clear conscience of what your end goal is. You know, like I may do something as dirty as sell weed or whatever, but at the end of the day, this is not my position forever. And that's how I looked at it.
And you got to think about it too. It was survival, right? Like you're 18 years old in Elizabeth, trying to survive, high school dropout, not knowing where the next meal is coming from. As kids, we could be naive to what we're actually doing. Like you look back now and you're like, oh my God, I was giving poison to people. You know, you think about it like that in retrospect. In the moment at 18, you're like, I'm a hustler. I'm doing what I got to do. You know what I mean?
To it.
Just getting to it. Yeah. So you always kind of, from what I'm seeing here, you kind of always had this entrepreneurial spirit. You were just kind of using it for bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you did this, and how long did you do this for before you realized I got to stop?
I was doing it for a good, like I moved out, and then around 19 I started selling, because like from 18 to 19 I was still like, I had Costco, you know, it's a side job, but nothing crazy. But at 19, like I started realizing like I need to make more than just like $200 a week. You know what I mean? So that's when I started selling, and I did it for like maybe a year until I was like, this isn't for me. And the crazy part is that after I said, you know what, I'm done with this, 6 months later, they raided the same exact corner store that, they raided the same exact corner store I was selling at.
Wow.
And I could have been indicted just with them and everything. So thank you, God, for not.
You blocked you dodged the big bullet there, brother.
It's crazy.
And how did that intuition happen? You were just, I need more money. That's it. That was you didn't have like a come to Jesus moment, or like, damn, what I'm doing is not really going to sustain me. You know, like what made that decision to click? Like, I got to stop doing this.
My mom, to be honest, my mom told me, like, she's like, listen, like this, I'm tired of seeing you out here, you know? So she let me be, but at some point she's like, I got to be a mom, you know?
Yeah. So, wow. So she had a conversation with you. And
she said, move back in or whatever. And I was like a little hesitant about it. I did move back in, but it just wasn't for me in that situation, because she was still with her ex-man.
The ex-man, yeah.
So I tried it for like 2 months, and I'm just like, I can't do it. You know, I can't be in the same house as this guy. So I moved out, and that's what made me realize I could do things the right way, you know, have a relationship with my mom and, you know, keep it cordial.
Gotcha.
So that's how it started, and that's when I started actually working at legitimate jobs.
And before we move on to the legitimate, so I mean, were you guys selling heavy stuff like heroin, or was it weed?
See, I only did weed.
Okay,
because I'm never the type to give anybody some real poison like heroin.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
stuff like that. That's beyond me. You know, like I don't ever want somebody to die because of what I did.
Got it. You know, that makes sense. No, I understand. Oh, well, at least, I mean, I'm asking you that too to kind of see how deep you were into it, because you know, weed is always like the entry level of, you know, just like you get your bearings, and then after that, it's like, oh, now you got coke, and now you can sell pills. So I'm happy that you kind of figured it out before you got into the heavier stuff, where you would be making a lot more money. Yeah, because in Elizabeth, that's all they kind of teach you, right? It's either you're gonna go play.
And that's when Molly was in and stuff like that. Yeah. When Molly was super in, everybody was selling it and stuff. Yeah.
Dude, so I'm thankful for you, man, that you dodged those bullets, and then you understood, and thanks to your mom too for kind of guiding you through that. So now we're up to legitimate jobs now. What was your first legitimate job?
My first legitimate job was Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo B-Dub. Is that in on Linden?
In Woodbridge.
In Woodbridge. Wow. Yep. Okay. How long ago was this?
That was like, damn. I was 21. I was 21, so 9 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow, dude.
9 years ago.
So 9 years ago, first legitimate job. How was it? First day?
It was cool. You know, that's when I started really like looking at sports, because Buffalo Wild Wings is known for 50 plus TVs, always playing sports. So that's when I started. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I wasn't into betting yet or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was chill. Like I had no complaints. I met some good people there, and you know, life goes on.
Gotcha, bro. But it was kind of weird, right? Because you were there. How long were you there for?
Like 8 months.
8 months. And those 8 months, already your brain is kind of synchronizing itself. Like, I'm watching these games. Unconsciously, you're not realizing the game that like you're putting in your mind, that there's a seed there that you kind of started watering. You know what I mean? You didn't know it. You were like, oh, B-dub.
And I feel like I did know it, though.
Okay, you did. Talk to me.
I felt like I did, but I didn't. You know, I didn't know this was going to be the end goal. I just knew that I wanted to do something with sports, because after Buffalo Wild Wings, I only want to work anywhere that involves sports. Sports
Gotcha.
bars, whatever. I ended up at Topgolf, you know?
Topgolf. Jeez, man. So how many 9-to-5 jobs did you have before you started the Parlay Plug?
I could go Buffalo Wild Wings, Miller's Ale House, Mama Juana Cafe.
Mama Juana. Is that the one in Jersey?
No, the one in Woodbridge.
One in Woodbridge. Okay, yeah.
Mostly everything was in Woodbridge.
Got it.
I had maybe like another restaurant job in Summit. I forgot what it was called.
Jeez.
And then the end was Topgolf. That was my
that was
like
your last
restaurant.
9-to-5. Okay.
And then after that was Amazon.
Amazon. That's right. So you did all these basically service, jobs until you went to Amazon, which is more like logistics and warehouse, that type of thing.
Yep.
So we're going to go to Amazon. So is this another survival mode where you're like, you know what, I just got to kind of work at Amazon?
Yeah, it's literally, I got out of Topgolf and I was just tired of serving people. Oh, and I also worked at Cheesecake. That's where it was, at Cheesecake Factory. I just had somebody talk to me so disrespectful, and I'm like, I don't want to serve people that are going to treat me like, I don't want to get treated like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm done with the service industry. Let me go to a different industry. So that's when I went to Amazon. At that point, they were giving up like that $2,000 bonus. If you make it 90 days, they'll give you a bonus.
They give you a bonus.
So I was like, yeah, fuck it.
Why not? 2 G's. I mean, and you did that for how long, Amazon?
A year and some change.
A year and some change. And then you started doing the Parlay Plug.
Yeah. So before I started at Amazon, I already had the idea of the Parlay Plug. I was already doing bets.
So you were making, you were doing small, like kind of getting your feet wet type of thing.
Yeah. Let's run it all the way back. So at Topgolf is when I started getting my feet wet. I was
talk to me.
Hanging out with this dude named Twigs. You probably see him in the videos.
Yeah. Shout out to Twigs.
We ended up, connecting. He was great at sports too. So we'd start betting on him. He would give me picks and so forth. We would study. And that's where it literally all started. Then that's when COVID hit, I'm assuming.
2020?
Yeah, COVID hit in 2020. And we were still sports betting. There was still something to bet on, but, not a lot.
Yeah. I heard people were doing crazy things like chickens fighting each other.
Yeah. Like it was crazy.
Like what was that? What's that one sport that it's kind of like baseball, cricket?
People
were betting on cricket.
So at that point I'm like, all right, I'm betting or whatever, and I love it. Like I'm loving like me going to the computer, analyzing all these numbers, and I'm like, I could have a predictable outcome, like a educated outcome of what's about to happen, And sometimes it would happen, and it's that feeling, knowing that you won after you put in that work. You don't get that feeling in a 9-to-5. You clock in, clock out, make it back the next day.
Yeah, it's mundane.
Yeah. So, and where was I?
You were talking about you got into the whole understanding of strategizing.
I was understanding the what research tools were, what strategizing, narratives, all that stuff, and COVID hit. It was slowed down a little bit. That's when I ended up working at Mama Juana for a bit. And I created the name, the Parlay Plug. So I'm like, all right, this is going to be the name. I just need to work on it now. So I was working on it, made the page, and I quit Mama Juana because of the whole, I quit Mama Juana, went to Cheesecake. That's when I said, I'm done serving people. Went to Amazon. I ultimately made the decision to work nights at Amazon because I said, I want to work on the Parlay Plug during the day. No matter what I had to do, I have to work on the Parlay Plug during the day for when night comes, the bets are already in, people are already are ready to bet, Wow. So, and that's where I feel like the ambition came from. I was working from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. every Tuesday through Saturdays. at Amazon.
At Amazon. It's a sick schedule, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
7 p.m.
So
to 5.
it was good money. It was like,
Yeah.
I was being paid like $20 an hour, something like that. And after that, I would go get a little breakfast real quick at like 6 a.m. in the morning, straight to the Parlay Plug. I would do that for maybe 4 to 5 hours till midday, sleep for like 4 or 5 hours, and do it all over again.
Wow. How long did that last, that process of you eat, sleep, repeat?
A year.
A year?
A year straight.
So for a year straight, you worked 7 to 5 overnight, Amazon, went straight home, drank coffee, worked on Parlay Plug for another 5 hours.
Yeah.
See, I think people have to really let that sink in, because everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone wants to have their own business, but they don't realize that your 40 hours a week is just your regular job. It's the other 40 hours you got to put in to make your dream come true. It's like what Gary Vee says.
Yeah.
Like, you got to wake up, work your job, and then come home and work again. No Netflix, no hanging out, no going to the movies, no clubbing, no partying.
Yeah, it's
you want something. Yeah, it's how bad was it in the midst of it? Like, did you ever want to quit?
I never wanted to quit because I have my fiance. She's lovely. Like, I love her. She's been with me for almost 3+ years.
Nice.
And she's been through it all. She's been through it when I had nothing, when I was doing that every 4 hours. I couldn't have any time for her, you know?
Yeah.
But she knew, like, I was working towards something bigger.
Absolutely.
So, you know, big ups to her. You know, she's still with me.
Shout out the fiance. You want to shout her out?
Yeah. Shout out Jackie. Shout
Jackie,
out my love.
shout out Jackie, man. You got a good guy here, man. You made the right decision. Very happy for you, man. And listen, it's very important to have a strong woman by your side when you're trying to build something. You know, I think anybody that's in business, that's in really good business, I'm talking about like Fortune 500 CEOs, all that crazy stuff, they're all married. And they're all married for a reason, because in business, it shows that you have a sense of stability. When a guy is single and has all this money, you're unpredictable. You need to have some type of groundness. If I wasn't married, I would probably buy a Rolex every month. You know what I mean? So we with all that great success, I don't want to sound corny, Spider-Man. With all the great success comes great accountability or great responsibility, right? You having a great woman by your side that's going to support you, especially when you're down, let alone when you're up, that's a keeper. That's a blessing, because in business, it is looked at very respectfully. In business, when you're making big moves, like $10 million deals, $50 million deals, $100 million deals, these guys are married. And they look at that in a different way. Like, this is a man that has morals, that has accountability, and can be responsible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So kudos to you on making that decision. And I mean, obviously before, Jackie was your fiance, you were still having this drive to figure this out. So you kind of always had this in you.
Yeah. I always had it in me. And like I said, she was there to support me. So I was doing it, we ended up moving in together while working at Amazon. Okay. She worked with me at Amazon.
Nice.
That's the crazy
That's how
part.
you guys met?
No, we've known each other for a minute, but she didn't have a job. So I was like, yo, let's just go work at Amazon from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. And then we just chill.
Yeah.
And then that's what we did. And she was there for me. I would do my research. She would sleep. Then I would sleep. She would wake up and do whatever she had to do. And we would do that. I did that for a year straight. And we moved in, moved out. And now she doesn't work.
Look at that. So you're supporting the house completely.
Yeah, completely.
That is awesome.
She does whatever she wants.
That is beautiful. How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel like, man, look, I'm holding it down for my family. I'm being a provider, because that's a man instinct.
It's a man instinct. It makes me feel great that I could do that for her. But that's not my end goal. Like, my end goal is like literally try to retire my family. Like, I don't want my mom working anymore, and it's gonna get there. But
yeah, it takes time,
consistency, and time.
And so that brings me now to where we are today with the Parlay Plug. I mean, you built this beautiful business, this beautiful model. A lot of, I always think about the Wolf of Wall Street when Matthew McConaughey is saying, you're dealing with, over the top of the shoulder mustard shit, digits, numbers. How is that for you to have to deal with numbers so much every day and still have that pressure that you can't fail all your clients? And people take losses. It's kind of like the stock market.
Yeah.
But how do you leverage your clients to be successful and try to avoid minimal, loss?
It's all unit management at the end of the day. As soon as you come into, like, let's say if you were to sign up and you go in the Discord. The first thing it tells you is that read that VIP guide. Read it. You know, if you're paying for something, why not get the full benefit of it? So read that VIP guide. There's a video on why you should unit manage your bets. So let's say,
what's unit manage, by the way?
So it's basically another way to say bankroll.
Okay.
So let's say I have $10,000 and each unit is 1%. So I have 10,000 units, right?
Okay.
Let's say I tell you bet 5 units on this one play, but you think it's the lock of the day.
So you want to bet all the units on
So you want to bet 100 units. So now you're basically doing something that's going to hurt you in the long run because everybody wants to get rich quick, but they don't want to see it for the long run. So let's say I lose 5 units today, lose 5 units tomorrow, and then the next day I come out with a parlay that turns into 15 units. So now
you're back up 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you want to not follow me and say, I bet 5 units, but I'm going to do 10. I bet 5, but I'm going to do 10.
You're down 20.
And now you're down 20. And then when you finally get that bang on the third one, now you're only down 5. But if you would have followed what I said, you would be up 5. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it makes sense. You're like a financial advisor for bettors.
In a way.
In a way, right? Yeah. Like you're kind of like when I go to see my CPA or my financial advisor, he tells me, well, you shouldn't put this money in here. You should put it here because in 10 years it's going to do this. You kind of do the same thing, but with the sports. Yeah.
My goal is to make you a disciplined bettor, you know, keep you here in the long run, because this isn't, like I said, it's not a get rich scheme. It's not some way. Yes, you could hit $5 to win $20,000.
Yeah,
but the odds in that happening is literally 1% or less.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It's the odds are stacked against you.
Yeah,
if you do the long game and you do calculated bets with no emotion, and that's a big thing for me because I told you I'm not a real big gambler, but I can't bet on the Yankees to lose, even if they're the favorites or they're underdog. I can't do it because then I feel like I'm gonna lose.
Yeah,
my team is gonna lose. So having like you doing the hard work for your clients, like taking the emotion out, you got to get some pushback, right?
Yeah, I always get pushback on, oh, why did you pick him? You know, he hasn't done this on 7 games against this person or all that. And it's just like, yeah, you see the thin layer that says, oh, he hasn't done this in 10 games, let's say. But then I go and do the numbers and I'm like, he hasn't done this in 10 games because of so-and-so reason, because he had this matchup or the weather was bad, something like that, you know? Let's say I have Aaron Judge to hit a home run, for example. Aaron Judge to hit a home run, oh, he hasn't done it in 4 to 5 days. Yeah, but Aaron Judge is the type of person to do it every 4 to 5 days.
He's due.
Exactly. He's due. And if there's a favorable matchup, take it. So let's say you have Aaron Judge at plus 200, right? 100 to plus 200, that means you'll make $200.
Double your money,
Yeah, $300.
$300, yeah.
In total. If I tell you to put 0.5 units on this, and that 0.5 units gets you back 1.5 units, and you don't put that, and you put 1 unit and it lost, the next day, if I say he's super due the next day, and I tell you to put the same 0.5 units, is because no matter if you bet on him twice, you only bet 1 unit to win 1.5 units.
1.5, yeah, smart, yeah. So you really take the guesswork out for them.
Yeah.
And do you do this through streaming with Twitch or Discord?
Yeah, Discord. I stream every so often if people want to see how I get to what I get. But mostly just Discord, giving out what I know. We have Twitter Spaces and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
More recently, I've been getting into vlogging, and
your vlogs are awesome.
Thanks.
I love your vlog. I mean, it feels like I'm watching a movie, man. And that's like, it's like you do like day in the life thing. And,
day in the life.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Day in the life. I give you like advice on what you should be doing, or maybe a free pick that day. If you watch the video, there's something going on.
How do you separate yourself from everyone else that's doing the same thing you're doing?
Not a lot of people in this industry are transparent at all. You know, so you'll see on Instagram somebody in front of a yacht and say, oh, I'm 12-2 in the last 14 plays. Where's the record? Where's an actual record showing that you're 12-2, you know? Gotcha. And what are the odds that you're doing this? What is your ROI? What's all this?
Got it.
I specifically hired one person to track all the cappers. No matter, and there's no, I edit it. That's the dude. Like, I don't do anything. He like, oh, Twigs is up 10 units on the week, stuff like that. And it's amazing because I'm not showing biasism or whatever you call it.
You're just showing the data.
Yeah, showing what we're performing. And there's no smoky mirrors.
And I think transparency is what people want, right? Because remember, people get emotional with money. So if I'm investing my hard-earned money into your belief system, I need to see a track record that this is a successful model. Mm-hmm. So if you had to grade your success rate from A to F, what would you grade it?
I would put it depends how you look at it though, because there's straight bettors, there's parlay bettors, and
got it. Yeah, I see. So I mean, overall, like, if you, like say a percentage, like are you like 90% on point most of the time, or 70?
So let's say I put out 10 plays a day, 10 parlays.
Okay. 10 parlays.
I realistically only need to hit one to win.
Yeah, and I see the ones you put up. It's wild.
Yeah, so like if I put up 10 parlays at plus 2,000, $100 gets me $2,000, and I put 10 of those at $100, that's only $1,000. I just won 1,000.
And if you hit 1 out of the 10, you make your money back instantly.
You make your money back instantly.
Smart.
Now, if you hit 2 out of the 10, you just tripled your money, you know?
You just tripled it, yeah.
Because it's the way I'm betting. Like, it's not for everybody. I'm doing parlays. But I have a team that, listen, you're not into parlays, you can go to straight bets.
Gotcha.
There's a dude specifically for straight bets, you know?
You do the spread versus the parlay, or you'll pick a favorite, or you'll pick over props. And under on runs. Yeah. But so is the real money maker in the parlays? If you, it sounds like you got a science down, like how to get the parlay to win. Is that true?
It's not more of a science. It's just, like I said, managing your units, you know? All you need is 1 in every 10 to hit. So if you're confident in your data and you know the matchups and stuff like that, why aren't you betting? I'm not saying don't bet 10 parlays a day, but let's say I have a full week of bets and there's 30 bets there that I bet in the week. Mm-hmm. If I hit 2 or 3 of those, I made everything back and more.
Damn, it made me want to join Parlay Plug.
and that's what people don't see is that you could have 4 bad days, but it only takes one good day to make up for the whole month. Gotcha.
No, it's true. It's true. And do people bet all types of different sports, or is it like what are the top 3 sports that people bet the most?
The most popular sports: football, basketball, and I would say baseball. Baseball is third, but for me, I think baseball is the best sport to bet on.
You love baseball like me, probably. So let's say it's like our favorite. But those are the top 3 that people usually gamble on the most.
Yeah, and then it gets crazy. It gets crazy. Golf. People bet on golf. People bet on NASCAR. People bet on table tennis.
Volleyball.
I have yet to bet on volleyball, but I'm sure there's somebody. There's gotta be somebody.
What about we just finished WrestleMania? Like, is that a big thing now?
You can't bet on WrestleMania because of the whole acting and stuff. It's fixed and stuff. But UFC you could bet on, which is tonight. So
man, there's so many. How do you bet UFC? It's just straight bets, like A fighter versus B fighter. I want A fighter to win in 2 rounds.
Yeah, and then let's say this fighter is known to get people on the ground and submit them more than knock them out. Then you could bet on that. This fighter is more likely to knock somebody out within 2 rounds. Stuff like that. Will the fight go the distance? Will it not? There's a lot of things you could do with UFC.
Wow. So UFC is now one of the most, if not the most popular, besides wrestling, that's
fighting sport.
People love fighting sports, man. Yeah, you get a lot of requests for that?
Not too much, because it's very UFC is like one of the most unpredictable things to bet on, because you could have a stacked guy like the fight Israel versus I forgot his name, Duplessis. Mm-hmm. Everybody thought Adesanya was gonna win that, and then boom, Duplessis wins. And all he did was fucking haymaker him the whole time.
Correct. Gotcha, man. Man, that's pretty wild, man. You got me over here thinking your business. It must be a lot of stress you go through.
It was, but then I realized I can't please everybody. I could only please so many people, and that's perfectly fine with me. It's not for you.
It's not for you.
It's not for you.
Do you have a lot of turnover where people drop out or they want to not be a client anymore, versus the people that you get all the time? Like, what's that ratio like?
The ratio is the average subscriber, let's say, lasts around 2 months, Okay. 1 to 2 months. They try it out for a month. If they like it, they'll stay for the second month. But if they lose that second month, they're probably going to end up leaving.
It's like an entry level tier, right? Is it like $25 a month or something like that?
It's $50 a month,
50
but
a month.
every so often I'm giving out codes like, hey, 50% off for the month. You know?
I see that you put that up a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Do a lot of people do that too, or is that something you do specifically?
They love that. They love it because it's a low entry point. You know, you're getting in for 25. You're paying less than $1 a day for somebody to do work for you.
It's a no-brainer, man.
Like,
especially if you love like sports is like who doesn't love sports? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a market that's never. It's $1 billion market.
And it's never going to leave.
It's never going to leave. Yeah, and now that gambling is legal, forget about it. It's like everyone is gambling.
You see it everywhere.
You see it
on
everywhere.
Your TV
Yeah,
screens.
you can't hide it.
You'll see it in the urinals if you have to.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
you can be literally like, I'm at a Yankee game and in between innings, hey, DraftKings sponsored now, place a $5 bet and you can make it. Yeah. Or FanDuel. Like, it's just like, and it's like they throw it in your face.
all the time.
It's crazy.
You can't avoid it.
No, you can't. How do you handle it from a business perspective, the real addicts that really gamble and lose it all, like degenerate gamblers? Is there like something you have in policy in place for people like that where it's like, you know what, we just can't service you anymore, you're not paying your bets, or you're losing your house? Like I know DraftKings does that.
I have yet to encounter a addicting gambler or whatever, a gambling addict, but at the end of the day, I feel, and this is just my personal belief, I feel like you don't have a gambling problem. It's more the casino's trying to put that fear into you that you have a gambling problem. Because that's
a new perspective. Yeah, please explain. Yeah.
So you go to the casino and you lost $1,000. The next day you're like, I can make it back. So boom, you go again with another $1,000. So you lost $2,000 now. But now somebody's saying, damn, you have like a gambling addiction. And you're like, well, maybe, you think of it like that. I do have a gambling addiction, but that's for them to be like, all right, that's another way for them not to ever regain the money that they just spent on us. See
what you're saying? Yeah.
So if you quit when you have your losses, then how you know when you're gonna win?
It's like a gaslighting technique.
It's literally a gaslighting technique. Like you're a loser, so no, you're gonna prove that I'm a fucking winner.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, man. So. Again, I have so many questions, man. I'm very enamored by your business where you're able to create this huge ROI and still keep people happy. Like, what are that? I mean, your day to day. I mean, I looked it up. You drink your coffee, you walk your corgis, and you do all your mental research, right? Mm-hmm. How extensive is this research that you do? And you have a team as well, right? But you're the symphony orchestrator. So what is your direct role in that research?
So when it comes to research, it's gotten a lot easier as the years go by because there's so much AI shit now.
I was just going to ask you about AI. How's that affected your
It's been great. It's been great because everything that you can do in an hour, they'll do in like a second. They'll say, so I usually do this. I'll go and look at a player and I'm like, all right, I love him to hit a home run today. And then I'll go look at the AI. And just because I did all the research for 25 minutes, I'll go look at the AI. The AI already hasn't projected to hit a home run.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it got easier in that perspective. You still got to do the work. You still got to know which ones are your favorites because the AI could project 10, 15 people to go yard. Mm-hmm. You don't want to. Yeah. You don't want to give 10, 15 people like, hey, here's 15 people to go yard. Pick all of them. Yeah. You're gonna lose like that.
You are. Yeah.
So you got to do the best possible research and. AI helps you because it also gives you like a percentage of this guy has a 27% chance of getting a homer,
That's so. Is there a certain like program you use with AI, or is there like multiple different AIs that people use?
Yeah, there's a lot of apps out there. Yeah. There's like Props.cash. There's one that I use is Rude Bets. Rude Bets is the best.
What makes them the best?
Well. He actually used to work with us, but
get out of here!
Yeah, come on. Yeah, he was working with us, but he had Rude Bets before that. I offered him a position to get into Discord, and he said, "You know what? I'm gonna do this for now." But he decided to branch off, and that's great for him. And I love him and everything. But his computer his code that he built was just insane. Like there was one time last year that his code was predicting the top home run bet of the day. And it hit for 8 days straight. So let's say Mike Trout was the top guy to hit a home run. It hit the next day, Shay Langoliers or somebody, you know?
It hit all.
Imagine a dude named Shay Langoliers that you never heard of being a top home run pick, and you pick him and it hits.
And he's like a plus 1,000 probably.
Like,
wow. So he created, but you still use his AI
all the time, every day.
Wow, man. I mean, so there's like so much tech. I wonder how that impacts Vegas and sports in general, because I feel like the technology is getting so good now. It's how close are we to sure bets? Are we close to that?
I wouldn't say so. It's just a lot more goes to it, because like everybody has a different type of AI or code. You know what I mean? So the way he built his code is that he put a lot of things that need to happen, or things that need to go into the code for it to present that. There's some AIs that don't have that same exact code and have a complete different person to go yard. You know what I'm saying? So what I would say is like get comfortable with one AI, see how it does track it, make sure it's doing good, and then go from there. If you don't like it, go on to the next one. But when it comes to research and all this, it's just getting the right numbers down, double checking, triple checking what you need to do, and that's it.
Gotcha, man. And what's next for Parlay Plug? What's the growth look like for you in the next couple of years?
The growth is just, trying to get everybody on my team to be as successful or more successful than what I am, I have a team of 6 people under me.
Wow, that's big, man.
Yeah, I love them. I love them all. I consider them family. They've been with me for like 4+ years now. And I just want them to have the life, like, you don't have to go to your job, like some of them do have their full-time jobs, but you don't have to do this. You could literally do exactly what I'm doing every day.
Full-fledged entrepreneur, man. And how do you feel, man, looking back, young kid that dropped out of high school, and did you ever go back to get your GED or no?
No.
So look at that. Dropped out of high school and was told that he had to basically sell drugs to survive. And look at you today, entrepreneur in your own right, not just living, but also, thriving and flourishing. How does that make you feel?
It's very, it's surreal sometimes, like I've never expected to do the things that I'm doing now, like looking back, it's just like, God is good. God put me in the right path to like, I went through what I had to go through to get where I'm at, and the way I see it is just like, I've always been consistent in my life, where it's like, if I put my mind to it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that always stuck with me. And Brady said it best, in order to be great, you got to be what most people aren't. And it's consistent.
Absolutely. Yeah. I always say it's my tagline in my emails: consistency drives success. So I feel like if you're just consistent and don't give up, eventually it's going to work itself out. But if you quit after doing something for a couple weeks or a couple months, and then you try something new and then you quit again, you're a quitter.
Yeah.
You're just going to keep failing in life.
There's no results.
You don't give it time to flourish and to see what it's really going to be. You're just like in the mode of like instant gratification. And we're living in a world of instant gratification.
Yeah.
Your clients probably drive you nuts. Oh, I'm going to just hit. How come this didn't hit? But having that foresight to understand that things take time, and no matter what odds are thrown against you, you're gonna, basically, be there through the good and bad and in between to get to the finish line. There's a lot of perseverance in that, and you have a lot of perseverance inside you. Did you get that from your mom growing up?
Yeah, my mom, she was a go hard. Like, no matter, like, she was the type to like.
Well, she is.
Yeah, she is. She is the type to, not eat for another person. You know. So, and there was times like we didn't have nothing in the fridge, but she still has something for me to eat. And it's like, if my mom did that, being a single mother with no lick of English, in America, why can't I do it with all the opportunities that I have?
Absolutely, man. You've carved a beautiful lane for yourself, man, and that's based on your upbringing, what you saw growing up, and the hardships you had to go through, and the hardships you seen your mom go through. That had to shape you in some way or another, right? Yeah,
it definitely did. It humbled me, because like at the end of the day, like all this could be gone at any given moment, and you got the best thing to have in your life is like family, your close friends, and a great wife.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the way I see it is just like never lose the value of that dollar. No matter if you have 3 million, 4 million, never lose the value of what a dollar means, because at one point a dollar meant the world to you,
That's actually a good perspective, and I think the same way because listen. I'm thankful to have a good, blessed life, and I still like. Wait, man, $10 for this? Like it's still, even though
some things are
I'm
like
successful, but some things it's like I go to a Yankee game, $60 for parking. Like that's I mean,
$30 for a beer.
Yeah,
like,
and
what?
I'm thankful, right? Because God bless me with that I can afford it. But man, I think about those people all the time that $60 means the world to them, and they can't even get parking at a game or go enjoy a baseball game or whatever the case is. With that being said, how are you as far as charity and donations? Because I think that's for me that's a big thing. Like if you're blessed, overly blessed, it's always good to give back and be charitable. Does the Parlay Plug have anything in place now or in the future where you guys want to start doing donational charity things?
So our biggest thing is that we give back to the people that support us. Okay. So if you're signed up in VIP Discord, we're constantly every week or every month we're doing a giveaway. I've done so much as to buy people tickets to watch a game.
Nice.
I've done fantasy free leagues that if you win, you'll get $500.
Gotcha.
A lot of little things like that. Not so much in the charity aspect because there's a lot that goes with me knowing I need to find a reputable donation, a charity.
Gotcha.
Because there's a bunch of them that
you got to find the. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know.
So
what you mean.
I haven't expanded that way yet, but in the future, I'm definitely thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're doing is great. I mean, you're providing information for people that love sports and have the money to spend. Might as well have them triple their worth, double whatever they make, and you're doing what you love. And I think that's a big thing that people don't do anymore is they don't do what they love, or they're scared to do what they love. So I talk to people for a living. I love doing that.
Yeah,
I wake up every day excited, happy, thrilled. And you probably feel the same way. You wake up excited, happy, thrilled. Like I'm walking in my purpose. I'm doing what is meant for me to do in this life and in this world. And, what would you say to a high school dropout today if you were at talking to them in a round table and you see yourself in them and they don't know what they're doing with their lives? What would you say to them?
I would say don't lose faith. Don't lose hope on what you want to achieve and just be consistent. That's the key to everything. Consistency, faith, and hope, Yeah. You have those three things, you're going to make it.
I like that, brother. And how did not having your dad around shape you as far as like who you are today?
I feel like me growing up around women, not having my dad wasn't my perspective. It was just I was growing up around women.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
My dad was kind of in my life, but not really in my life,
Just like me. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I just grew up around women and I just learned to respect women. So that's one thing that I could say that is the best thing because not a lot of people respect them,
Understood, man. And do you have a relationship with your father now?
Yeah. So the funny thing you asked is that I reached out to him this year and I'm like, hey, Pops, like, I want to see you. I haven't seen you in like 15 years.
Wow, it's been that long.
And
Jeez.
I booked a flight for him to go to Bahamas, and we're all going to have a vacation.
That is so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Wow, so you guys, your mom too?
Nah,
okay, just you
just
and
my
your dad. Okay,
rekindle, the
That's
relationship.
Where's he at now? You have to
Spain.
Oh, he's in Spain. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
He got deported from here, moved to Colombia, and then moved to Spain.
Get out of here, brother. Wow.
Yeah.
But that's beautiful you're doing that, man. He was probably excited when you told him.
Yeah, and he like gives me my flowers. He's like, listen, I see what you're doing, and I'm very happy you made it. And it's really great to know that somebody that wasn't there for you, like, said that to you, knowing that's your kid,
Yeah, that makes you, it almost kind of closes the loop. Because I feel like sometimes, as men, we tend to not kind of like be at peace with not having a dad in our lives.
Yeah,
and
I was like that for a long time, dude.
Yeah, I was rough, bro.
Rough.
I was caught up. I mean, I was smoking weed all the time. I was being lazy, not really using my gift as my purpose, and all that was because of the pain of my dad not being around. And I had a chance to, my dad's in my life now, and I had a beautiful conversation with him a couple of years back, and we both cried and talked, and I kind of cemented and got us back to zero. Because before it was just like all over the place, like you weren't in my life. I hate you, but I love you, but now you're, you know, that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Did you go through that too? Like,
yeah, like I don't even know how many times. Like I was 15 years old. Like last time I saw my dad was when I was 15 years old. So at that point, like we rekindled the relationship a little bit, but before that, I was like every New Year's, I'm like, damn, I wish my dad was here. Damn, whatever.
Yeah.
So when I saw him, it was great. And I just decided like, I don't know when's the next time I'm gonna see him. So I just got to grow up by myself, you know? And that's what happened, dude. Like he was in my life. He would call me here and there. At 18, he sent me a little bit of money to buy myself a car or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, like he never did anything, you know? But that's still my father, you know, like
Absolutely.
you brought me here. You made my mom happy for somewhat amount of time, you know, like you're still my dad. We're blood. So I never want to know that I'm this successful, but my father's in Spain, you know, not like struggling, you know?
No,
it's something about that just it's ill.
No,
so I want to retire the family.
Yeah, that's your big. And you saying retire the family, is that because of all the hardship you seen your mom go through, and you guys go like what was like what was rock bottom for you and your mom at one point, if you can talk about that?
We were living in a 1-bedroom with a boxer dog. Like imagine I was like probably like 10 years old, living in a 1-bedroom with a boxer dog on Cherry Street in Elizabeth.
Cherry Street, yeah.
You know, and literally at my grandma's house, and it wasn't really a house. It was like an apartment, like a long apartment.
Long apartment. I know those.
Yeah, so that was like rock bottom for us. For me, rock bottom was living in freaking an apartment, not paying rent, not having a job, selling drugs. Damn. That was my rock bottom.
Wow, it's scary because you were set up to be another statistic of a single parent household. Selling drugs, locked up, like that's the MO when you don't have the dad in the household. You remove the dad from the household, and all of a sudden the kids just are left to their own devices, and you have a stream of the statistics that keep growing of the son or the daughter that just, you know, the son becomes a drug dealer, the daughter becomes a stripper. Like it's all these crazy like outcomes, or they go to jail or they die. Yeah. So for you to defy all odds and be here and do something positive and have your own company, have your own business, and really use, you know, what God has given you to move forward, I think it's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
I think you're on the right track, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm actually very proud of you for what you have done and what you've become and what you are continually growing. Because I think the Parlay Plug is a beautiful brand. Besides the fact of what your service is, I'm talking about like the brand itself. You describe it as a family with the 6 workers that work for you. You're obviously, you know, you have some sort of stability because you're getting married. This is awesome, you know. And is your family religious at all?
Yeah, I mean, to an extent. They're not going to church every week. Gotcha. But my mom always tells me, like, you know, give grace to God. Like, pray every night, you know. Like, I pray every night for you. And my grandma prays every night for me, you know. So they're very into praying and, like, you know, giving the grace to God.
I'm asking you that because I notice how you forgave your dad and you're so giving to him and you're so forgiving to people. Like, is that like something you learned from your family, from your mom? Like, because that's a very, you know, Christian type of feeling that I'm getting, is that you kind of like built in a foundation of, you know, forgiveness and kind of understanding. You know?
Yeah, for me, I think like why they have no control of. They did what they had to do to try to make it out, just like I did. I realized that growing up, like my dad didn't leave my life because he wanted to. My dad got locked up and got sent to jail, and then
oh man,
you know,
really, and then what did he do, if you don't mind me asking?
A drug dealer.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that. So you were in this cyclical.
Yeah. So
oh wow.
As I grew up, I that's why I forgave my dad. I'm like, my dad did what he had to do because he was trying to provide for us.
That's crazy. We have a lot in common. My dad was a drug dealer. He went to jail too. Wow, that is crazy. That's wild, bro.
Yeah, man. So that's what made me realize everything. Like even my mom, like, you know, like she wasn't the best mom at times, but at the end of the day, they provided for me. They wanted the best for me. And you can't really blame a person that tried, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, and you're, like I said, you're doing exactly what you need to be doing right now to continue to become more successful at what you're doing. I think you found something you're passionate about, and when you're passionate about something and you make it your life, you got something you can focus on forever.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's what you're doing now. And man, many more blessings to you, brother. I'm very proud of you, man. You are crushing it, man. How's the fiance feel about all this success?
Shit, she's happy, you know, like, you know, I couldn't have a more supportive woman, because with all this money and all this stuff, there could be a crazy girlfriend saying, oh, like, you're cheating on me and all this. But my girl is full 100% trustworthy towards me, as I am towards her. And we just been good, man. And, you know, she's reaping the benefits of going through the thick and thin, you know?
Yeah.
And now we're good.
She's ride or die, man, for real. Man, well, I got some mastermind questions for you before we get out of here. This is something I ask to people, you know, at the end of the interview, just quick thoughts, just to get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
What book have you read that inspired you the most?
Never read a book.
Never read a book.
Never read a book.
Never at all in your life?
Nope.
Wow.
As long as if it was a homework assignment, I would read it.
Really?
Yeah, but I've never read a book.
Any quote?
The famous Tom Brady quote. Most people want to be great, but they're not willing to do what everybody. What was it?
I can look it up right now. I know what most people want to be great.
Nah, in order to be great, you have to do what most people don't want to do, and it's be consistent.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. He's got a bunch of them, but that does sound to be consistent, right?
Yeah.
Or some famous. Yeah, I think that's the one right there. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. What person in your life has brought you the most influence?
That's hard. I would probably do two people, my mom and my grandma. Okay. You know, they've always influenced me in the right way. My grandma is my savior when it came to, like, you know, waking up, putting a roof over my head, putting food on the table for me. You know, my grandma has been a hustler, you know, and to this day she's a hustler, and that's what inspired me the most. Like, this 70-year-old woman is getting to it, you know.
Wow.
You know, and she looks young for her age, you know, but she has her own business in Colombia. Like, that's great, you know. And
what does she do in Colombia?
She has just a bunch of real estate, you know.
Nice. That's very you come from a lot of entrepreneurial background, man.
Yeah, so
jeez.
She basically, like, helped me, and she set me up in ways that nobody could. So she's the main reason I'm probably still here.
Wow.
Yeah.
God bless grandma, brother.
Yeah.
So what keeps you driven in life?
Success, to be honest, bro. Success keeps me driven. Like, I want to be the most successful I can to provide for the people that I can. You know what I mean?
You're addicted to success.
I'm addicted to it. I love winning. It's a dopamine when you win.
Hit, yeah.
Literally.
Well, that's also like the thing. Do you see yourself chasing that success as a dopamine hit?
And that's one thing. You can't chase it. You can't. You gotta live by your means every day. Like, be disciplined, be consistent on what you're doing. And it's, you got to eat shit to get a prize. And that's how I see it. It's like, not every day is going to be great, you know? But when it is, it's amazing. It's amazing, you know? Yeah. And that's how I look at it.
Awesome, bro. Have you ever had any vices, and have you overcome them?
Vices,
like stuff that you are addicting. Like, you had a drug habit, or you were alcoholic, or you addicted to gambling.
I never had a vice. There was one point that I did cocaine for a month. But
for a whole month, get out of here.
Yeah, I was on a binge, like, every day doing cocaine for a month.
How did that happen?
Just chilling at bars, chilling at the restaurant. Everybody after work wanted to party. Yeah. So I was doing that for a month straight, and I don't know what made me snap out of it. I just said, I don't want to do this no more.
Dude, I've never done that in my life. I mean, I was like, the farthest I ever went was weed, but I'm always curious what that feels like. Oh, because it must feel like you want to talk about dopamine.
Yeah, you literally feel like Superman. You feel like you could do anything. It's just, I don't know. I just didn't like the feeling after it. Yeah. But in order to get rid of that feeling, you need to do more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're always chasing the high.
So at that point, I'm just like a month in, and I'm like, let me stop now, or I don't know what. I could honestly tell you, like, I didn't stop because I just didn't like it, you know?
Yeah. So, well, that's a strong addictive drug. You just woke up and said, I'm not doing this again, or?
Yeah. I mean, to this day, I'm not going to bullshit. I smoke weed every day.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But
it's legal.
Yeah. It's legal. It's medicine. But it also, like, for me, it puts me in a focus mode. When I smoke, like, as soon as I smoke and I go to the computer, I'm focused. I'm locked in.
Gotcha.
And it kind of helps me, to be honest, because if I would just wake up and I'm just like, oh, like, fuck, what am I going to look at today?
Yeah.
Just eases me, you know?
And there's a certain strand that you use, like I said, I'm assuming an indica, right?
Yeah, mostly indicas, yeah.
Because I guess you're using it more. I mean, it's kind of like a tool for you to work because you're kind of doing it also, I mean, for pleasure, but also to like get focused on, you know, what you need to do.
Yeah, I limit it. I'm not a big, like, I'm not going to smoke an ounce a day, you know?
Yeah.
I have like literally times, like I'll smoke 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 at night. That's it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha, man. And you don't smell like it now, so.
Oh, I don't. Good.
So, I mean, you don't carry it around. That's good.
No, I don't.
What's the next level of success in your life look like?
The next level of success of me is just taking this to the moon. I'm very, very ambitious on giving a visual presence because I made it on Twitter. It's amazing on Twitter. But I want Instagram now to see what we're really all about.
Gotcha, man. How many followers you got on Twitter now?
165,000.
And you got like 18,000 on Instagram.
18 on Instagram. And the funny thing is that Instagram has Threads, and Threads is kind of like a Twitter.
It's kind of like Twitter, yeah.
And I got 50K on there. You know,
dude, so people follow you, man.
Yeah.
You got a buzz going. So
yeah.
Keep going at it, man. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's the plan, bro.
What's the last thing you bought that changed your life? Last question.
The last thing I bought that changed my life, my dog.
Wow, the corgi.
The corgi.
Parlay.
Parlay is the name.
Get at it.
I love that dog.
Really?
It showed me responsibility. It showed me I have to care for something every day. It showed me, you know, I don't know, dude. Like, it basically, that was the first animal, I guess, I've ever had in my life. You know, I've had dogs that were my mom's dogs that were my grandma's dogs, but I never had a dog that was my dog.
Gotcha.
So that feeling,
it's a whole different feeling,
it's
right?
It's a great feeling. I love it.
Man. And it just feels good to come home and just rub his head.
Rub her head.
Oh, yeah. Rub her head and watch TV, feed her.
And it's like, instead of me going out and spending money, I'd rather be with my dog. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go on a vacation for no more than 3-4 days because I'm itching to get back. You know, I want to see my dog. I don't want to be more than a week. So it kept me grounded, kept me humble in all the ways possible. And yeah.
Dude, great story, man. Wow. I mean, I'm a pet owner too, so I got my little Prince at home. I love Prince.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was my wife's dog, but then obviously he became my son. But we love him to death, and we look forward to coming home and hanging out with him, taking him on walks. Sometimes he just chills. Yeah. Like, we have a joke that he's like a little weed head because he just hangs out. Yeah. Like, he doesn't like ask for it. He's just there, just like zoned out, just chilling with us, watching TV. It's the funniest thing. Yeah.
That's fire.
But he's a cool dog. I love him to death. Little Princey Pooh Bear. But yeah, man, no, that's awesome, brother. Hey, great story. Again, man, I wish you nothing but more success, more luck, right?
More luck, yeah.
You need all the luck with this business, right? But yeah, seriously, man, more success, more luck. You know, I think what you're doing here to change the trajectory of your family's future, and for you to want to be able to care and provide for the entire family, I think that's something that is very admirable, and a lot of people don't do it. They're more selfish. They think about what can they do for themselves, and you doing that to be selfless for your family and for yourself and your fiance, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Keep doing it, brother.
Appreciate that so
Absolutely,
much.
Man. What you got the cameras here, man. Take a quick shout out. Let everybody know how they can find Parlay Plug, how they can join, what you got going on. The floor is yours, brother.
All right. Follow me on @theparlayplug. It's @theparlayplug, not Parlay Plug, on all social medias. Have a link in there already that you could click. It'll take you to the process payment procedure. You get a code off. And that's it. I wait for the story. I give free picks out daily. And let's make some money, man.
Loving it, bro. And they can find you also. Do you have a brick and mortar or no?
No.
Okay, so everything is all done home for now. Do you plan on having something brick and mortar where they can come visit? There's no need for that, though, right? In that business?
I do have an office, though.
Okay, office. Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I have an office that I moved in to like a 2-bedroom, but I literally have this setup.
Oh, you got the same setup here? Yeah.
So I have people come in there for business meetings all the time. My marketing team as well.
Dude, you're blowing up, man. You got the merch now.
Yeah, the merch.
Are you selling the merch now or no?
I'm not. I just give it away to anybody. I'm not a clothes seller. I'm a pick seller.
No, you're right. I mean, it's a dope logo, though. I mean, that could be something you could think about in the future. Because I mean, with merch now, everything's merch. You can always sell. Like, look at Travis Scott, right?
Yeah.
All this stuff he comes out with, and they sell like in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, and he's a rapper.
Yeah.
People just love the merch. I mean, I guess from my podcast too, I always think merch, buttons, stickers. Just branding in general.
Oh,
you know
tell me about it. I have a bunch of different things with the Parlay Plug on it. So
no, you know how to brand, brother, for real. Man, Julian, man, again, thank you so much for your time, brother. And I'm excited to have you on again in the future to see where the growth has come, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for making time, brother.
Appreciate it, bro.
Man, absolutely. My pleasure. Oof. That is a wrap on episode 42 of An Artist Not a Salesman podcast. If this podcast inspired or moved you in any way, please subscribe to Apple, Spotify, and YouTube platforms by typing in Luis Guzman, I'm an artist, not a salesman, and clicking that subscribe button. Please make sure to follow my Instagram handle, I'm an artist, not a salesman, for further content and updates. I am thankful for every listener. I pray you have a blessed one, not a stressed one. Peace.